Good morning once again. This is Atlantic Blowout on Atlantic Television Network, and the program is a syndicated live one. Features chit-chats and conversations and special interest topics on news events and stories through correspondent reports, expert opinion, and stakeholders analysis. Today, my guest is sitting in the studio ready to talk about what's going on in Nigeria. First story today is on the hashtag End Bad Governance Nigeria protest, where we have NANS urging federal government to stop persecuting protesters. And then on inflation, FCCPC says no intention to regulate prices. We'll find out more about that story because that's a bit fishy. And then on economy, Warri Kaduna refinery must be debt-free. And then that's a statement by NNPC. Nigerians and stakeholders have been making statements about that, privatizing the Warri and Kaduna refinery. But then the next story we're looking at before security. Before we get to talk about security, we'll be talking about a statement by Dangote. Can we go to that story, please? A statement by Dangote. It's on the economy that will ensure petrol availability. All right, they're reeling out petrol already. That's talking about the Dangote refinery. Joy in some quarters in Nigeria due to that story. Well, my guests will tell me what they think about it. And then on security, northern governors vow to combat insecurity. On climate change, integrity crucial for Niger Delta environmental damage. This is a statement by EFCC. All right, let's take a short time out, and when we return, my guests are already in the studio. My name is Enidoye Jackson. Please stay with us in ATN. All right, let's take a short time out, and when we return, my guests are already in the studio. My name is Enidoye Jackson. Please stay with us in ATN. With me in the studio, looking all good, is Alfred El Nino. He is a public affairs analyst. He's also an activist. Good morning to you, Alfred.
Good morning, Nigerians.
Welcome. Good to have you again on ATN Blogs.
You're welcome.
All right, I also have with me Dandy Loveday.
Good morning.
Looking all lovely.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about Nigeria. These are the issues that affect us, so it's important we prefer solutions. But starting with the hashtag End Bad Governance protest story. This is a developing story from that particular protest. The National Association of Nigerian Students has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stop the ongoing prosecution of hashtag End Bad Governance protesters. In a statement by NAN's Senate President, Comrade Akinte Afiz Babatunde, the group emphasized that the right to peaceful assembly and protest is fundamental in democracy. NANS expressed concern that persecuting these protesters undermines citizens' rights and threatens democracy. They appealed to President Tinubu to demonstrate his commitment to democratic values by halting the persecutions and dropping all charges. NANS argued that the protesters were motivated by a desire for positive change and that their voices should be heard and not suppressed. Do you see this as a move to suppress their voices? Do you think there is any ground for the arrest? I mean, the police actually has a reason they have stated due to the fact that according to them in some places the protest wasn't peaceful, and then when we talk about the people who were lifting up the Russian flag, so when you look at some of these reasons, these are reasons that have been stated for their arrest. But then now saying it could be a way of suppressing the will of the people. Dandy.
Well, at first, NANS disassociated themselves from that protest. They didn't join the protest. And now they are calling for a halt. And whatever it is, I also want to go in that line. There's no need. What are you prosecuting them for? So the government should also be prosecuted for the economic devastation we have currently, or we're experiencing currently. So there's no need. If you want to prosecute them, probably the federal government have their reason why they want to prosecute them. They've not come up to say these are our reasons. And they may also come up to say it's not because of the protest. Something has happened during the protest. They did one or two. So I think we
followed the protest.
Okay.
We followed the stories.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean you and I, because
very well.
some of those days we were here in the studio.
Yeah.
We saw that in some states the protest was violent.
Violent, as you may describe it. But is it what the police...
As the media has described it.
Okay, as the media.
Yes.
Okay. Could it be what police is even saying? Violence in the sense that were they killing police officers? Were they destroying properties like we saw in certain videos on social media? Yeah, those things were going on. But we also saw videos where it was alleged that military were carrying things and all that. They also prosecute these persons. And then if people protested and you're prosecuting some persons for going beyond that, how about government not even coming out to address the issue? So who is prosecuting the government? So whatever it is, if anybody, the truth is that if anybody goes against the law, such person will face the law. So in the cause of protest, if you feel you go against the law, you become a victim. But if NANS is appealing that such person should be released, such prosecution should be halt, probably because of the economic hardship, I should also give it to NANS.
All right, talking about the fact that we did not see the government address it, what exactly are you referring to? Addressing the arrest, addressing the protest, addressing which of the addresses?
Well, what did they address? What led to the protest? They said the high standard of living. Has it been addressed? Did it even solve any problem? That's one. They were talking about the cost of PMS. What happened? It went higher. They're talking about high cost of foodstuffs. What happened? It's higher. They're even talking, in fact, the issue is that they're even talking about the minimum. Let's not go on that. Before then, NLC came up with the increase in minimum wage. Have they received it? What changed? We're talking about insecurity, electricity bill, and all that. Which one? Not even one. Which one have they been able to address? And that's why I said the president's speech, as at then, would have been more than what he came up with. But it was obvious that the immediate solution to what Nigerians were yearning for weren't there. So the president was also very sincere in his speech. Not to state that we are tackling anything, we are handling anything. I think it's obvious now that the president was actually very sincere in his speech. So none of these issues has been addressed. Is it security? Which of them? So the government needs to rise.
All right, let's come to you now, Alfred. What is your thought on this story? Do you see this as a sabotage? Do you see any underlying, maybe something outside what we can actually see?
You see, in an economy where people thrive, if you imbibe what we call anti-government, anti-people policy, people take to the street. Now, looking at this, just as my contemporary has said, the government does not have a blueprint for the common man. And that is what has brought us to where we are today. Now, talking about these protests now, what were the yearnings of the people? This is geared towards bad governance. And the people are simply just tired of the way things, the acoustic manner in which things are done in Nigeria. And to this effect, the common man said, let's put an end to this, and the only way they can actually make themselves heard is by taking to the streets. Now, to this effect, people protested in different states for same reason. And here in Port Harcourt, it was very, very, very peaceful. And there were videos to that effect. If a government wants to work, they will work. But alas, I think it's working in Nigeria. The answer now is no.
So you also believe that those things that the people protested for have not been in any way been addressed?
In retrospect, they've not been addressed in any way. Now, during the protest, the army was working, NSCDC was working, the Navy was working, and even the Air Force. While the protest was going on, we saw helicopters hovering in the air. These are same people that cannot even fight insecurity and insurgents in the north. Now, but when it comes to protest, they know that you can bend a broomstick, but you cannot bend a whole lot of broomsticks put together. And they know the power of the Nigerian youths. And once they want to get a thing, they must get it.
Is this do you see this arrest in any way being suppressing the power of the people?
Now, what are they billing those that were arrested for? Now, looking at this now, if they had CCTVs, they will zoom their GPS and say, yes, these are the people that were involved. During the insurrection in the United States of America, do you know that they pinpointed everyone that was involved? And same person that we saw on CNN are the same person that were in court. Not just that, they had a proliferated profile of everybody that was in court. And they were given different terms. And their cases is still on even till today. But here, when Nigerians want to niche on you, they are quick to action. But when they want to get certain results, they go adrift.
Do we even have that kind of intelligence gathering to start with?
That is it, we don't. If we had, we will not be where we are today. And to this effect, I am urging the federal government, its policy making, to, as a matter of fact, free those that are supposed to be held captive. Because there is another protest coming up on the 1st of October, and if care is not taken, it's going to take another turn. So to this effect, we are actually telling the federal government, this is the way to go. And the assertions of the common man could be pediatric.
Why do you think that they should actually free the protesters?
Because if the government had done what they ought to do, nobody will come to the streets. Because they don't even put their thinking cap to think before taking certain actions. Because if you want to be proactive, you will say this and this is going to happen after we have done this. But the government have hugely failed on their own part to make sure they do the needful.
So even though the protest in some places was recorded to be violent, according to reports that we had, and then probably people were arrested, they should be freed because they were protesters?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they should be freed. Now, if, for example, they were taken to the police station, they will tell you the police is your friend and bail is what? Free. Is bail really free in Nigeria? No. Once they need you, you go in for it. Like I told you some time ago, if you must walk in the streets of Nigeria at night, as a youth, one, have an ATM that has a little money in your hand, then have a phone to reach out to somebody, or if not, in present day Nigeria, you can be declared as a missing person, just like that. There are certain issues or several issues that has culminated to what I am saying now. So to this effect, I'm saying everybody that was caught during the protest should be released.
All right, do you think the government is in any way discouraging Nigerians from protesting? We saw some videos of some of the family members of the people who are currently in police custody, and it was such a, should I say, a very sad one, because I almost started crying with a particular sister of one of these guys, and then a woman was consoling her and telling her it's just Nigeria happening to your brother. Do you in any way see this as the government, you know, stopping, making the people understand that there are other options except protest?
First, did they charge them to court? That's why keep them? Or do they go to court from that place? But the one thing I must make clear is this: where your right stops is where another begins. Now, because you're protesting, you shouldn't go against the law. Whatever might have warranted this, anybody can take advantage, and that's to deal with the person. We saw a video. I saw a video where a protester, I think he was trying to run away from, I don't know, whatever, but they didn't shoot the person. Then the brother was shouting, "Stop!" Okay, he was actually shouting, "Officer, stop! Officer, stop!" The next thing we saw was a video where the guy opened the other person's singlet, and it's like a bullet wound. Now, in that case, let's say it wasn't a police officer who shot that person. Can we also say the person should be freed if it's an individual that did that? That's the other part. If it's a police officer who also did that, should the such police officer be freed? What's my point? If you take the law into your hands, you'll be prosecuted.
Now, the thing is, it wasn't all the protesters who took the law into their hands. And we know how these things happen sometimes. Yesterday, we had a guest here who talked about the police raiding an environment, and he was on his way back from school, and he was just walking on the road, and they told him to enter the police van, and that was how they took him to the station. So in a situation where we have a lot of protesters and some people are going against the law, how do you get to separate who is going against the law with who is not going against the law? And let's assume these people are carried now, assumption now. Do you understand?
I also go by assumption. I even wanted to say scenario you're bringing up now. We are assuming that these persons were all picked. They were innocent. Then we're also assuming that these persons were picked. They went against the law. That's why when I started, I said, have they been taken to court to be proven guilty? Then there's also a scenario where somebody who is arrested is not given the opportunity to be heard by a good lawyer. So for that reason, you pay for what you didn't, the sin you didn't even commit. If that is the scenario of these persons that have been arrested, and I wonder why the police have not come up to say these were their offense or offenses. Why have they not come up to say so? And why are you keeping them? All we heard was that they went against the law. What and what did they do? Except they also pointed it out and we're not aware. But if you can't point out what they did, if it were just mere protests or mere protesters, why arrest them? If you cannot say these and these were the things they did, why keep them? So I also don't think there is need. In fact, what happened in the NSAS, during the NSAS period where they said release the people, they didn't do bad, they didn't do anything and all that, it should also be applicable to these people if so. What did they kill? Or is it because they were looting, they saw food and they were carrying? Who kept the food? Why did you keep it there?
It doesn't make you right anyway.
It doesn't, but again, why are you stocking food when people are hungry? And you're stocking it in a warehouse and it doesn't even belong to you. Some of the food that they brought out in last time they did this product
were palliatives, right?
Palliatives! So why, okay, who dropped it there? Why are they not prosecuting the person who dropped it there? And you're prosecuting the person who is carrying it to go and eat. Did they steal money in all of this? Were there places they said they were breaking banks? But one thing we must also understand as Nigerians is that you shouldn't take the laws into your hand. This country, if you don't have Mr. A and Mr. B to back you while you're trying to do what you feel is right, you won't even know, because all of us are not opportune to see through the constitution and even understand it. You may be going against the law.
All right, but people have to talk. Just like when we were, the conversation I had before we actually came in, people would definitely need to talk. Somebody has to stand up. Somebody has to rise up against some of these things, because it looks like Nigerians have been quiet for a lot of time. That's what it looks like, because when you look at some of the actions of some of the people that hold certain positions, the next question I always like to ask is, what do we expect the people to do? How are the people supposed to respond to this? And how much do you even think the people have done against this policy if they do not like it? And that is why the Constitution has made provision for protests. But let's go to the next story now. Now, we have reports that the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that's the FCCPC, has clarified that it does not intend to regulate prices in the Nigerian market. Instead, the Commission's recent directives are focused on preventing exploitation practices and ensuring a fair competitive environment. This statement, issued by Ondaje Ijagu, the FCCPC's Director of Special Duties and Strategic Communication, was in response to concerns from the organized private sector and other stakeholders. The FCCPC emphasized that prices should be determined by supply and demand, and that its role is to protect consumers from unfair practices, not to control prices. The Commission cited the cement industry as an example where, despite efforts to maintain fair pricing, dealers significantly inflated prices. To give businesses time to adjust, the FCCPC has provided a 1-month moratorium before enforcement begins, and the Commission remains committed to enforcing the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act to maintain fair competition and protect consumers. They have told us that this is not really their duty to check prices or to actually fix prices for different commodities. But let's get your thoughts on the actions or the activities of the FCCPC so far. We have had inflation of prices in various sectors. In fact, almost every sector now has been affected in one way or the other. And people always channel it back to the increase in price of petrol. And then people have been asking questions like, who are the agencies in charge of this, and why does it look like not so much is being done?
The truth is that something that beats my imagination is, why should government and its policy makers always lie to the people? It's so provoking.
What are you referring to now?
Now, yes. First and foremost, they urged all traders to bring down the price of goods and commodities. And now they are saying something on the contrary. Now with this, there's always a surge in the price of goods and services once they make such pronouncements. And to this effect, if you go to the market, within an hour sphere, you will see that this same commodity that you bought for this amount has changed overnight. Now, if they don't bring the price of fuel down, do you think food prices will come down? No, it will never come down. Now, to this effect, the Dangote refinery has been rolled out already, and every Nigerian was expecting that maybe fuel would be at 50, 100, minimally 150 naira per liter. So until, because it's like oil is the hallbeam of Nigeria sustainability. So if the oil prices does not come down, sorry, no other aspect of this Nigeria will be fixed, because this is what every Nigerian is looking how to affect or effect changes sinusoidally until it gets to the roots and crannies. But to this effect, people should make sure we do the needful without erring. If you go to the market today, the average Nigerian is living on chaff. You can't get the real value for your money anymore. For you to have the real value, it means you are going to spend more. Nigeria as economy has been dollarized. If you go shopping, they will tell you dollar has done what? Increase. And now Dangote has rolled out his field. Dangote is a one man. Dangote is not a nation. Dangote used to be the richest man in Africa before, right? But someone has outturned him. Why? Because of our cynical policy making in Nigeria. The moment you thrive in any sphere that has to do with money, as you go political, you must go there. And that is what is happening to Dangote today. And to this effect, I'm not going to speak or dwell too much in this area. I believe in due time, we are going to know the reasons for which all of this has happened.
All right, let's look at how much is being done by these agencies that are involved in price regulations in Nigeria.
So what are they regulating price? How do you regulate price? You want to regulate it from the producers, or you want to regulate it from the wholesaler, or you want to regulate it through the consumers, or even the retailer? So where do you want to begin? In a good economy, an economy like Nigeria, where we talk about a capitalist system of governance. Nigeria is practicing a mixed economy. And then in this mixed economy, in a laissez-faire system of markets, in a laissez-faire market system where everybody is allowed to determine price, and then the forces of demand and supply determine price. I was in your radio station on Monday, and they came up with this, and they, sorry, that was actually with Ife, and he said, they were accusing the middlemen of hike in price. And I said, it's a wrong thing to do. If it's even a wrong, I think what they've done, what the agency have done, is, what that commission have done is just a freedom of speech. So they've uttered their speech. And I like it that today, that was on Wednesday, they are coming back to say, we did not say. So I accept that they're also listening. I said it was a wrong thing to say that the middleman, you must bring down your price.
But they didn't change the fact that you're still giving them 1 month ultimatum.
You don't give.
That was not correct.
How will you give them 1 month ultimatum? There are other price systems. When you want to give me for instance, you're citing cement, and then you said the producer is bringing cement for 3,500, for instance. And then I am selling at 6,000. And you want me because I bought 3,500 from the direct producer. Did you consider the services? Did you consider other things? Expenses. Like, for instance, expenses. Did you consider my transportation? Did you even consider that while I was going on the road I ate? Did you consider the insecurity? Did you even consider the corruption that is on the road? Did you consider my shop renters? And the motive of every business person is to make profit. So why are you one-sided? They are just talking. Let it be as if they are doing something. They also know that the only thing that can reduce inflation here is the forces of demand and supply until we get to equilibrium. And how are you going to do that? Why are you coming up with this? When you remove fuel subsidy and you said the target was to allow the forces of demand and supply strive, so why are you not doing this?
So you don't think there are people who are intentionally overinflating the prices? That
could be. They are taking advantage of the market system. And that's why they're in business. If you don't want anybody to take advantage of the market system, go and settle the market system. Go and control the market system. How do you do that? Go back to the roots. Go back to the foundation. Like he pointed out. Why do you allow PMS to go higher? And it has almost become the determinant factor to energy generation in Nigeria. And you allow that to be so high. So what do you think?
But do you think that they can actually control the price of fuel? Who can they actually control at the end of the day? Who are they supposed to, be in communication with and, check their prices and all of that?
First, first we go to OPEC regulation. OPEC has its fixed price on where you sell the barrel and all that. And you now come back to Nigeria. What are you producing? Do you refine? So what's dealing with Nigeria now is the cost of production.
So what I'm asking is, do we expect them to just fold their hands because petrol is expensive, and that's probably what's affecting every other thing? They should not take any steps.
Are they not folding their hands? We don't even expect them to fold. They have folded their hands. Why are you not going to the root? You want to bring down a tree and you're going to the fruits.
What are they supposed to do? When you talk about going to the root, what are you referring to?
Going to the root is first start with PMS. Go back to electricity.
They should regulate the price of PMS.
Yeah, you have to. If you think
Yes,
if you think you want to regulate price, it was being regulated not until the removal of first subsidy.
But that's on the NNPCL. They get to decide the price of petrol because they are the sole.
You get to decide the price. This is a commission. You want to curb inflation, and you want to go back to the products. You want to go back to the output? How do you achieve it? I'm giving an instance. You want to cut down a tree and you're going to pluck the fruit. How do you kill the tree? So why not go to the root? Are you scared of going to the... Why is it that whenever we talk of oil sector, all the government agencies are shivering?
Really, you feel that? You think
it's almost looking like, why not you go back to that? And listen, if PMS should come down, do you know the transport fare will come down? So which means it's easier to transport goods and commodities. And once that is at lower price, the producer now have the commodity available. The cost of production will reduce. Just because the cost of production have reduced, cost of transportation system have reduced, you look at other factors that are leading to high cost of production. And if that is tackled, the price automatically goes down. And when the price does not go down, because we are in a competitive market system, it means that consumers will move from the person whose price is higher to the person whose price is lower. But if you think you just come and be making announcements, you think market forces is just by announcement? Does stomach know what you're talking about?
All right, with the situation that we are in Nigeria, before we get to Dangote reeling out fuel and all of that, let's look at the situation that Nigeria actually is in. A situation where we are importing this product, and because of the amounts that we are importing, in fact, independent marketers actually stopped that because, according to them, it was quite expensive. Because of the amounts we have the NNPC importing this product, they are even subsidizing it. According to them, they are even subsidizing the price for Nigerians. But then at the end of the day, the price that we get to receive this product is still expensive. So this will definitely affect other sectors and the prices of goods and services. Do we now expect that nothing should be done about those people who, like Dandy has said, are taking advantage of the market system and overinflating this price? Does it mean that nothing should be done concerning that act?
First and foremost, it is very, very barbaric that we are in Nigeria, we have our oil in Nigeria, and we'll be shipping it outside the country to be produced or mass produced for a certain amount, and they sell it 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times back to you, and you buy without receiving. And now, to this effect, it is going to have an overall hawk on the economy. Why? Because one, as I said earlier, Nigeria has been dollarized. So because of this now, the price of PMS has no regulatory anymore. What are we asking for here? Oil should be the oil should be refined here in Nigeria. We have Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refinery.
We'll go to all of those refinery talks. Now we're talking at the people overinflating the price, taking advantage of what's going on.
I just affirmation this because if the oil was produced here in Nigeria, the price will be regulated in Naira in Nigeria, and it will get to the least man. So to all of this, the government, I believe, knows what they are doing. There are cabals involved in this oil sector, or if not, we will not be where we are today. What are these factors that make every other economy thrive? Go to Namibia here, go to Ghana. These are oil producing countries. Why are they not experiencing this shortfall that we are experiencing here in Nigeria? It's not supposed to be. To me, I believe all legislators, anybody that holds sway in Nigerian government, should go for an exercise outside of Nigeria to actually know how their economy thrives.
Is it out of place for them to give this marketers a 1 month ultimatum to check their prices?
At all. At all. In retrospect, it shouldn't be, because even in an economy where things work, they don't have a time frame to deliver on this dividend. It's not supposed to be.
The issue you have with it, is it the 1 month ultimatum that was given, or the statement in general by the FCCPC?
No, my statement, the issue I have here is that it's good they are in a commission. They have to do their work also. But my challenge here is you should allow the market forces to decide this. In an advanced country, you don't come up to tell people what to say. The market forces will decide. So coming back to be saying, it shows you how worse the economy have gone. You now want to tell me what to sell? Were you aware of what I bought? That's the challenge. What's the price of the raw material at the local communities? What about the natural resources? How much more is the government participation recognized in it? Are they even doing anything? Which of the commodities have been subsidized by the government to now warrant you trying to control the price? How do you control price? Make the market competitive. You don't come and control. Come, this microphone, reduce it. This one, reduce it. They know they are not doing the right thing. You're giving ultimatum. What's in place for you to give the ultimatum? What's in place for you to be sure that it will work? The point here is that go beyond giving ultimatum. Go back to the market. Try to make it competitive. Make the other sectors work. You will see the price crash immediately. This one will not.
Try to make the petroleum market
not only the
which of the markets?
Not all the sectors. I'm talking about sectors.
You think we don't have competition in other sectors?
Like where? If we talk about the petroleum sector, it's becoming monopolistic.
No, not about the petroleum
sector.
Yeah,
because I mentioned that because you said that. The agricultural sector, where is it working? How effective is it? What's government encouragement? Do we have storage facilities to even say, okay, the price is high at this moment, I'm not going to sell now. When the price comes down, of course the supplier will want to take advantage of higher price. Do we have such commodities that are such storage facilities? Do we also have that transportation system where you curb the high cost of transportation of goods and commodity? What? The people are left to decide. And if you've left it like that, make it competitive. And because it's competitive, price will crash because every supplier wants to sell. So if you don't make it competitive, you just come up on air. You think you come on air. Even the air they came up, they paid. They paid. You just come out here, I'm giving you 1 month. Giving who 1 month? The person you know how he started his business. The electricity tariff, how much is it? It's high. So what's the cost of production? You don't even know. Everything is so expensive. In fact, the way are they even getting it? What's the source of raw materials? Some of them have been gotten from abroad. And then you're not tackling this thing. That's why I said, go back to the roots. Leave the fruit. You just want to plug the go back. If you want to destroy a tree, go back to the root. Destroy the root. Allow the tree down. It will dry off. They know. If they don't know, they should come and listen. They will understand.
Right, let's look at the petroleum sector now. We have mentioned that over and over again. It almost feels like there's no story we'll be discussing from any sector in Nigeria where you will not, in one way or the other, channel it down to the petroleum sector because of the price of fuel currently. Well, we have reports that the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has released an expression of interest document outlining strict financial and technical requirements for firms interested in bidding to operate and maintain the Warri and Kaduna refineries. Key criteria include a minimum average annual turnover of $2 billion, being debt-free, and providing 4 years of audited accounts along with latest credit ratings. The document emphasizes that bidders must demonstrate strong technical expertise, particularly in refinery operations, including fluid catalytic cracking units, instrumentation controls, and maintenance. And additionally, bidders must comply with Nigeria's local content laws, ensuring a significant percentage of their workforce and management are Nigerian nationals, and demonstrate a commitment to training and community engagement. The contract will be temporary, lasting up to 5 years, with guaranteed crude oil supply from NNPC. The process includes 3 stages. 1, expression of interest, technical and commercial, with submissions due by September 12, 2024. Now this is should we call it complete privatization, or just in 5 years you get to control the refineries, you get your staff, but they have to be Nigerian nationals, and all of these criteria that have been listed. We have been talking about making our refineries functional, and a lot of people have called for the government to why don't you bring in private individuals to get to look at this. Well, this is being done now. How would you react to this story?
May I ask you a question? Was there a time that the Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refinery functional? They were. They were very, very functional. Now the question is, at what point did our refineries get so dilapidated that it has brought us to where we are today? Are you aware that even in recent time, even with the fact that these refineries are not working, they are paying workers in these refineries? Now, I saw a document this morning that showed that Port Harcourt, that was being revamped with about $1.5 billion, has people working in a refinery that is not producing a barrel of oil this day. Nigerians are tired of hearing these stories going on every now and then. The question is, what do we do?
Is this going to help you? Now, this is an action. This is something new.
It is not going to help us in any way. This is going to heavily lead to what we call monopoly. Because now, when you start giving this refinery to private individuals, like I told you before, there are cabals. These cabals are still going to be the people that will still buy this our oil. They will constitute the driving force that will determine the price, the demand and supply.
Okay.
And with this, once it gets out of hand, it means these forces are still going to be in control of the way this oil business is being run in Nigeria. And sorry to say this, within the next 3-4 months, we may start buying fuel for 2,000 per liter, because they are going to constitute the driving force in the economy.
So you actually think, okay, talking about there being cabals, that's actually your thoughts and your opinion. You feel because
it's
of the
not
action.
my thought. This is what we have seen over time.
This is what you think from your reaction, from your ideology, that there might be cabals, right? But that's your thought. That's on you. But then looking at the whole thing now, you have said that this move would lead to monopoly and will increase the price of fuel in Nigeria at the end of the day. That's what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying.
All right, and Dandy, let's get your thoughts on this move.
Okay, first, it's a good move. Why do I say it's a good move? The time frame given out is, I think, I wonder if there will be bidders. But if we finally get bidders, it's a plus to the government. This shows that the government...
Why would you wonder if there will be bidders? Why wouldn't there be bidders?
Because of the criteria. You're giving me 5 years to be able to fix the refinery. Now you're talking about, because if you're going there, I'll fix the refinery and then make it work. They say you have your own staff. So it means lease. They are leasing it out for 5 years. So I wonder who will stand in for that. But whosoever, and I don't know if I fix the refinery, you know how long it took Dangote to be able to get this. And then if I'm able to fix that within 2-3 years, how do I get my profit back? And that's why I said I wonder. But you can also tell there are some very rich persons in Nigeria who are good in taking risks. But it also explains that the government is even telling us here that we are tired.
To the end of ourselves.
we are tired of this. Let's not play this pangolo any longer. Let's just tell Nigerians the truth. But these things, they would have done it since. How about the money you've been sinking into the Port Harcourt refinery. He said about $1.6 billion.
1.5.
$1.5 billion. That's the one they told us, not the ones they didn't take record of. So if you share that money among Nigerians, even those who protested, even all of us will start business. So, but be that as it may, this is a step in the right direction, if you ask me. Because if any bidder gets it right, the refineries will start working. The Kaduna refinery, Warri refinery will start working. And then after then, government takes it back. I pray if they take it back, they don't kill it.
You know, that's exactly what Alfred said earlier. Because he said, he asked the question when he started his analysis, was there a time when these refineries were functional? Yes. So what happened?
Okay.
Now, the people who are in charge of these refineries, who were in charge of these refineries, and then something happened, are still the people, the government, right? That's what I mean now. Maybe faces have changed, but it's the government that have been in charge. Now, if we have private individuals coming and change the system and then handing it back over to the government, what is the guarantee that it will not be handled the way it was handled in the past that brought it to the state that it is currently?
Now, even if the individual is handling it, it will still go down. Because they are machines, they are equipments. There are times equipment will get dilapidated. So, but the problem here we have in Nigeria is maintenance system, maintenance culture. So, if whatever it is, whether government, individual, maintenance culture is the problem. We are even talking about refinery. Go to health sector, go to different sector. We have dilapidated building. Go to schools, dilapidated classroom systems and all that. So, the maintenance culture in Nigeria must come out. So when it comes to do with individual, they know individual wants his personal business, personal sweat to go down. That's why it's as if the individual is always. That's why US and some other advanced countries allow the individual privatization, allow capitalism to thrive, and then pay tax to the government.
Are you saying privatization would be like complete privatization of these refineries would help in any way?
Why I will not have confidence is that is because some other things we privatize. How far? The electricity, how high is it? I even learned they want to give it to some of these telecommunication companies. How far? How good has it been? So it's always as if even that of the Dangote they're even talking about is coming. The government will still put hand inside. Why are they not even removing their hand?
What do you mean government putting their hands inside? A private refinery?
I don't know if you have that. I don't know if you have whatever. They said the government will still be supplying. Do you understand? From this story you took now, they say the government is going to still be supplying. That means the government is still involved. So if
this is for the benefit of Nigeria's economy.
That's what I don't even say it's bad. That's what I'm saying. If you want to make it private, allow the private man, the man who is in charge, to decide. He wouldn't want to lose. But if you are the one deciding for me, and mine is just to manage it. So what do you think?
The involvement they're talking about here is that they will get to provide the crude oil. You understand? They will get to provide the crude oil. You get to buy the crude oil from us, and that's just it.
Is the government not still involved? That's what I'm saying. If the government are they not still involved? So if you want to leave it, even that of the Dangote, government is still involved. So where are we? I'm
trying to see how there's a problem there. Alfred, do you see any problem in the NNPC being the ones to provide the crude oil?
Now, looking at this now, before this oil was shipped out of Nigeria and brought back to Nigeria, right? And now, Dangote has what it takes to produce enough of this internally and even export. Now, if Dangote can provide oil for the whole of Nigeria to consume, and the
oil, or you mean petrol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if there's a consensus between Dangote and the government, and they say, please let fuel be 100 naira.
Who do you say they? When you say they, who do you mean? The government?
The government.
Okay.
And because it is not internal, there are no external forces anymore, is it not?
Yeah.
We say this thing is now at the naira value, no dollar value. Now, if Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refinery must work, we can export that in dollars, is it not? Yeah. Then the GDP of that will be pumped back into our economy, and we start subsidizing other goods and commodities outside oil. You go to the market now, if you look at it, for a man that has produced yam in Kano, and the man is bringing the yams to Port Harcourt to sell, if the trailer load of yam is 5 million, 1 million would have gone into settlement of security agents, all of that. Who bears the broth? The end user, okay, which is me and you. So if Dangote has opined that he has what it takes to produce and even export.
Talking about Dangote now, we have reports that Aliko Dangote, the chairman of Dangote Group, has announced that 650,000 barrels per day refinery will ensure the availability of petrol, that's a premium motor spirit, in Nigeria. And speaking at the official rollout of the petrol from the refinery, Dangote highlighted that the Nigerian National Petroleum Commission, Company Limited, will be the sole buyer of the refinery's product and will control petrol pricing. He emphasized that the refinery's primary role is to guarantee the availability of fuel, while pricing decisions will be managed by NNPC, as approved by the Federal Executive Council that is led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Dangote expressed gratitude to Nigerians for their support and praised the president for fostering an environment that is conducive to achieving this significant project, which will contribute to the nation's growth and development. Finally, yes, Dandy.
Even what Dangote said, even him is not happy. From what he said as a businessman, is he happy? From what's Dangote, from this whole story, how can you be, I have the, okay, except Dangote is even telling us he's never the sole owner of that refinery. And this has come to expose the reason why they've been giving dates. I stated this in your radio station, that it will be reviewed on why they've been shifting dates. Even here, I told you when you give me date, they said they are going to bring it this, I told you it won't even work. And now it has come to expose this whole thing. So even the Federal Executive Council is involved. It means government is even the owner of the refinery.
Wait, the Federal Executive Council is involved in what aspect are you referring to?
He said the federal government Executive Council has approved that the NNPC would determine the price or the pricing. Now they will also be the one to supply. So are you just the manager? Do you understand? Are you just the manager? So they will determine, they will supply. Your own is just to make the product available. It's like what we're saying here. When you go to maybe an event, the owner of the event hires an MC, and then the MC is now talking, trying to make the event work effectively. What that means that it's not like the MC is the owner of that event. He was hired to. So it's now being portrayed as if Dangote is now being hired to make products or PMS available to Nigerians. Why the government will determine the price? The government will determine the supply. What is his own?
When he talks about the government determining the pricing of fuel, do you think he's talking about from his refinery to the NNPC, or from the NNPC to Nigerians?
From it's clear, the statement is that his own is just to make the product available. That's what he said. Why am I putting him out of context?
I just mentioned two things now, because all the while some people would actually feel like, okay, he's saying that after he sells out to the NNPC, they will get to define the price that as it will be sold by them now to Nigerians, independent marketers, and the rest of them. Or do you think that his statements is referring to the NNPC determining the price he, Dangote, will sell to them?
Well, I don't want to go into trying to interpret whether he
you're not interpreting what he meant. I'm trying to find out how you see it.
What I saw is that he is saying the government will supply the product to him. We are talking about refinery.
That's the crude oil.
The crude, yes. Now, we are talking about refinery. And then once it's being supplied to him, they determine the price. They will tell him what to say. His own is to send it out, make it available. Except there are other things. I said he will come out tomorrow and say that's not what he meant. I said he will tell us I wasn't even saying this. That's what he has said. Is there any other really prophet to even explain this?
But what some Nigerians saw this to be is he's trying to tell Nigerians how another face of the story now. It's probably, but let me, before I come up with that now, let me see how you see this. How do you see Dangote saying that they will get to decide the price of fuel? Is it that they will get to decide how much he sells to them, or they will get to decide how much they will sell to Nigerians?
Earlier on, I talked about cabal, didn't I? Now, do that Dangote was so frustrated that he wanted to even sell off the engineer project, because this Dangote project is all about engineer, of which I am an insider, of which I was even given a subcontract to provide contractors during the building of the engineer. I still have the prototype at home. You know, Dangote has been so frustrated that he wanted to even give out the project. He was looking for buyers already, and they came with a consensus for him to be part of this. Sorry to say this, even Robert Wigwe, late Robert Wigwe, was involved. He was part of the building process of this Dangote refinery. Now, when this government policy started and the cabal started playing to the gallery, Dangote
allegedly, all of these are allegations, everything now, you have said now.
Now, you look at it now, Dangote has only 4% equity in Dangote group of companies, and he was the richest man in sub-Saharan Africa, is he not? Now, he diverted into oil. Do you know why Dangote agreed to their terms? Allegedly. This is because he knows that he will be at the losing end of all of this. So to this, he will say, okay, take it, but there should be a price regulatory so that at least it will suit all and sundry. This is what I call monkey they walk, bamboo they chop. In the on the side of our government. That is why NNPC is systematically shifting themselves from all of this, because they have told us 4 different times that the refineries will work, and they never worked. And Nigerians are tired of their lies. That is why they want to shift the blame to independent.
So a lot of Nigerians are excited. Yes, they are excited now that Dangote has said that they're really not fuel and all of that. A lot of Nigerians are excited. So don't you think this is like a disclaimer of Dangote coming out to say, I am not the one who's going to decide the price of fuel at the end of the day. Since they buy from me, they will get to decide how much they will sell to you.
No, what are they excited? Availability. It's not even available now. It's scarce.
Yes, that's why they're excited that finally they're
really excited. That's one. Secondly, just yesterday afternoon, the NNPC price went higher. That's to give room for that of Dangote to come, so it will just get a bit, just little differences. It's a simple strategy they are using on Nigerians, and the end have not been heard. In fact, Nigerians should not even rejoice over this. We thought Dangote was coming to end this brouhaha in that angle, but they've made it so. In fact, they so frustrated the system. I thought the system was that there are other persons in the business who are frustrating him from overtaking the business. I didn't even know it has to do with government, who wants to get this, who wants to get that, and all that. Once this happened, Dangote is just agreeing to turn. From my own view, we're just agreeing to turn. Let me just start. With time, there will be another fight, because on control, there will be a fight on control. So he has given it up. Let the product just run. At the time, there may be another fight, and when that happens, it will either lead to price increase or something else. So, but if the only solution we have here is that if we get bidders in that of those refineries, like you mentioned earlier, Kaduna and Warri, and then they have come in fully, and then there is competition, that's the only way Nigerians will not be breathed very well. But in this case, where all forces, both Nigeria, Africa, and all that, have put their eggs on that, on that Dangote refinery. And they have killed other refineries. They have killed other refineries, I repeat. And then they have allowed that one to come in. Everybody is now focusing on that. They are monopolizing it, so they decide what comes in, they decide who takes what. And that's
the layman is asking a question. What changed with the prices of this, with the price of petrol? Okay, now we say there was subsidy before, and that's why it was the price that it was. But then when subsidy was taken off, it became higher, right? That's how we see it.
Yeah.
But then recently we've been having reports that the NNPC are saying that they are even still subsidizing fuel half the price they are getting it from outside the country.
That's corruption.
So what exactly then changed? If they're still subsidizing the price, it means there's still some sort of subsidy there. So
yes.
why are we still buying it at this amount?
That's why he talked about the cabal, and that's why I'm also going far to say the forces. That's the cabal. Some persons have brought in all their account number have been fixed in that place. Once this is done, give me this. Once this is done, and the thing government was, I think what happened here is that government is trying to shift, but it's not easy to shift. The prices have been going so high because they came up with the removal of fuel subsidy in such a way that they allow the force of demand and supply to determine. But the product availability isn't there. The refinery they were going to refine outside, the refineries weren't working. There were not things on ground to sustain the removal of fuel subsidy.
Then what subsidy are the NNPC talking about?
Whatever subsidy, they have to now go back, because if they follow the way, the policy, if they stand by that policy, we're buying it 1,000 now, we may buy it even 3,000. So the government is just trying to see how, in fact, they've made mistake. They don't even know how to withstand it. So they're trying to see how they get to the masses with a lower price. That's this whole thing playing out.
All right, at this point, we'll take some time off, just a very, very short break. And when we return, the conversation will continue on Atlantic Blowout. Please stay with us. it's straight to the next story now. It's still Atlantic Blowout. We have reports coming straight from Gombe State that Governor Inuwa Yahaya, that's the governor, then the chairman of the Northern State Governors Forum. Okay, yeah, that's the chairman of the Northern State Governors Forum. He has reaffirmed that Northern Governors' commitment to addressing the region's insecurity issues. Speaking in Gombe after receiving a report on Northern insecurity from the coalition of Northern groups, Yahya emphasized the need for a collective approach. He announced plans to convene an all-stakeholders meeting, including past and present leaders, traditional rulers, security chiefs, and civil society organizations to develop the implement strategies for last. The CNG report, led by Bashir Ibrahim, advocates for an all-society approach involving every citizen in the fight against insecurity. Yahya praised the report as a timely and comprehensive analysis. All right, this is Northern Governors talking about insecurity and how exactly they intend in fighting insecurity, and they've talked about involving and including everybody. Alfred.
Now, you see, in my own village, it is expedient that everyone that inculcates farming as a source of livelihood goes to the farm and comes back home safe. There is an entry point in my village and there is an exit point. Now, at what point do people come into the village? They will be on rampage for 3-4 hours and there's no security operative coming to their aid. Now, the North constitutes the food security of Nigeria, the food basket of Nigeria, the way South constitutes the oil in Nigeria, is it not? Now, when herdsmen keep killing farmers, it means there's going to be food shortage over time. During the protest, we had helicopters hovering the air here in Port Harcourt. So why within time can the Nigeria Air Force say, let's hover the air to see if farmers are safe? Now, the input of CCTVs nationwide, how much will it take us to put CCTVs everywhere? Now, this has to do with what? Power. If there's no power on ground, CCTVs can't work. So first of all, we should be talking about power if we must fight insecurity, because darkness is the worst form of insecurity, because anything can happen and bam, they are not, you don't see them again. Now, at what point do these herdsmen or hostage takers come into the farms? Where do they come in from? And where do they kill people and go out from? Without our security operatives following them tooth for tat. Because if these security operatives don't work, it means we are still where we were before.
So when we talk about the insecurity going on in the north, would you say that it has a big hold on the northern governors?
It has a big hold because, okay, let me give you an instance. When from the films you watch, if there is more killings from a geographical area, the commandant will channel more armies there. He won't care if everybody will die. He say, please, everybody swell that way. And by the time they are done, they don't come back without getting results. Sorry to say this, they've been appointing security chiefs for a job they know nothing about. It's like putting square pegs in round holes. Before appointing anybody as a security chief, they will ask you, what or how can you fight this to its barest minimum? Year in, year out, they'll put security chiefs in place and we don't get results. And people keep dying in thousands in the north, which has to stop.
All right, let's get your thoughts on this meeting by the northern governors to combat insecurity.
Are they still making vow? Why are they still talking? I was thinking they've passed the stage of talking to action. the insecurity in that region has passed the stage of talking. It has gotten to the stage of action. Personally, I would think by now, the northern governors will come out to start telling us these are our achievements. We've put in place CCTVs, like you mentioned. This is the results. We've put in place, we've gotten, we've motivated security agencies. We've bought cars, vehicles. They now have petrol. They have arms and all that.
Really, should these things be even brought to the public?
It shouldn't. But in all of it, in all of this, these are the results. That's where I'm driving to. In everything we've put in place, these are the results. So to come in to still vow, for me, I see it as sounding political. I just want to be in the media. Okay, why the things you've done to motivate the security agency will not be in public place, but the talk will be in public place. I think we should go beyond this talk into action. They should start taking action.
When we talk about the insecurity in Nigeria, I remember the other day we had a heated argument on this table amongst my guests about who should how much power the governor has in fighting insecurity, because we've heard cases of some northern governors calling on the federal government to come fight insecurity. The other day we heard about a particular state that once the military left, the military were everywhere in Assam. Once they left their stands, that was its insecurity stroke, and those guys, you know, the bandits came over. And then the argument was on how much power does the northern governor have, not just the northern governor, the governors now, how much power do they really have in fighting insecurity in their
states? I was in your studio then when we had this kind of discussion and all that. And we said, with that day we stated that the governors will always claim they don't have power for over the security agency. Okay. But you collect security votes. In fact, abuse one governor in this studio, they will come and the same governor will send security agencies against you. So, but whenever it happens, there is always this blame game among politicians, and that has not been helping this country.
So, is it out of place for a governor to call on the federal government to come help and combat insecurity in the state?
It's not out of place because that's how the Constitution have made it. That's the power of the federal government. You relinquish these things. And we've even been calling for state police. We've even been calling for, we've said every hand should be on desk. So why are you concentrating on the federal? If the federal have said we are the only people to be in charge of security, it's left for them to call them. But if you say the states take charge, then they should.
So why then are you making reference to this meeting? When you started your analysis, when you said that are they still talking, that we're supposed to have been seeing results from actions being carried out?
Exactly. They should come.
These are northern governors. These are governors.
These are governors. If governors are saying they vow, why are they saying they vow if you know you don't have the power? You should tell us these are the things we put in place, but these are the challenges. The challenges is that the federal government have the power over security. But you're saying you vow, it means you're saying it like you have the power to tackle insecurity. They are not even saying they have challenges. So let's follow them to say they vow. That's why I said stop talking. Start showing us results. If you have challenges, start speaking out your challenges. If it's with the federal government, but you're not even saying the federal government have vowed. The governors have vowed. It means maybe they've had agreement with the federal government. They are now in charge of the security, so they vow to tackle it. So we are following what the governors have said. They've not said their challenges. So that's my reaction.
All right. How much do you think the cases of insecurity, especially in the northern Nigeria, is being handled currently?
Now you see, in Nigeria, like I always say, it's a government thing. Like my counterpart has said, they know what they are doing. These people actually know what they are doing. Insecurity can be brought to its barest minimum if we actually want to work. But they know what to do to bring this to bear.
They've not done. Are you saying they've not done what they know to do?
They've not done what they know to do. They themselves are involved in all of this internal wrangling. That is why we are where we are in regards to insecurity in Nigeria.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Because you see, if they want to work, they will work.
All right. So you feel that it's more like a political will not being there?
It's much more than the political will not.
Then what is it? What is
there.
required?
Like now, we have our internal security that is supposed to work. Are they working? We have the Amotekums, or we have the OSPAC, we have others that bear different names that is supposed to be coercing with other government agencies to make sure this insecurity works.
Okay.
But it does not work. Why? Because government agencies knows what to do, but they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
All right, talking about agencies and stakeholders, let's go to our next story. Stakeholders at the first International Anti-Corruption and Climate Change Conference in Abuja have called for urgent reforms in Nigeria's oil and gas industry to combat corruption and environmental degradation. The event, organized by the Human and Environmental Media Development Agency Resource Center and supported by the different stakeholders, focused on the links between climate change, energy transition, and sustainable development. All right, we have reports that the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, that's the EFCC now, has highlighted that corruption, not just natural causes, is driving severe environmental damage in the Niger Delta, including oil spills and pollution. He stressed the need for transparency and accountability to address this crisis. Now, he has said that the crisis or the cases of environmental degradation in the Niger Delta is not just about natural forces now. He's also highlighting some of this, should I say human forces now, that he has said could also be one of the reasons that we're having this. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. He said what we're facing in the Niger Delta is not just the issue of oil pollution and that, and then it has the corruption also. It's coming from the EFCC chairman, so everybody will speak on their own jurisdiction. So he has to link it to corruption. Why do I accept? I agree with him. There are some persons who transport this illegally produced PMS, whatever name they go with. Where do they pass through? Do they jump? Do they fly from the air? Go around where they are doing fire. You see things for yourself. I came from a local government where it became a thing of almost everyone. Where they are now, you will see military men around there. Not even military, you see uniform men, sorry using the word military. You see uniform men around there. Some of them are real. Some of them are not. I don't also rule out the fact that some person can just go wear uniform and all that just to be able to collect and all that. And you see where they have blockages. What do I mean by that? You see this place, one set, the other place, so everybody's collecting. Everybody's collecting. In fact, there were allegations that some uniform men were also involved in it. In all of it, you cannot successfully carry out economic sabotage without involvement of those who are meant to stop you. Else they will stop. So, but in case where it continues freely, do you think there are no corruption cases going on? There are no exchanges going on? I interfaced with one who said, whenever they are, a woman, so whenever they are going for this, the least money she goes out with is about 3 million. And so she knows those to call to clear the road. So that's why I agree with the EFCC chairman. Totally I agree with him.
How much would you say they are doing in fighting this illegal refining in the Niger Delta?
Unfortunately, the EFCC have not come into this angle. They've been on money laundering, and I don't even know if that's also part of their own case. But it's supposed to be a situation whereby other uniform men will get the persons involved arrested and then hand over.
Not just the EFCC now.
Yeah.
Generally, how much are we doing in combating illegal refining in the Niger Delta?
No, recently in River State, for instance, I think it has gone low, even if it's still on. It has gone very low because we had this issue of suits, so it became a problem. And then the government went into it, destroyed a lot of illegal refineries and all that. I think it has gone very low in this region, even if it's still on. But it's not on the high
That means
side.
a
With
lot is being done.
a lot is being. I give it to them. They've done a lot in the Emoha area.
Okay,
It's all. Yeah, I'm talking about River State. I can't really tell about other states because I've not carried out such research to find out. But from what we've seen so far, it has reduced. They've done well.
All right. Would you say that the same thing?
You see, when at times the police IGP will say, don't give bribe to any security operative. Does that stop Nigerians from giving bribe, giving and taking? No. They themselves are part and parcel of this. That is why it can't stop.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
All the security operatives, especially here in the Niger Delta.
Okay, that's also an allegation saying that the security operatives are part of it.
Because, like, they will always say, if such is not arrested within 48 hours, it means the government's hand is on it.
Yes, allegation now. That's allegedly. But then we have heard in the news over and over again when we hear that security operatives have apprehended this, they have seized this thousands of liters of illegally refined products, and we've been hearing.
Let me
saying that the security operatives are involved or they're not doing anything is an outright statement.
Now let me ask you this: was this happening in 1983? Was it happening in the early 90s? So what factors culminated to why it is happening now? These are questions they need to answer. Now, it is expedient that when oil thieves are caught, what happens to the oil? There should be a platform put on ground where this oil would or should be repatriated to an arm in the NNPC, But these days, because I was part of the team that fought against kick-off black suit in River State, and it was so peaceful. After then, the black suit...
They advocated for kicking off black suit, okay.
And that receded after a while, even if we have them, it's not to the level of which it used to be before. You see, this oil thing is something that has to involve everybody, all and sundry. The oil is gotten from where? Predominantly from the Niger Delta, is it not? Which is supposed to be our main stake. But today, this oil is in everybody's backyard. If you have a pipe passing through your backyard, all you need to do is just pinch and have yours. Or if not, if you have policies put on ground to make sure this does not work, we have what it takes to stop them. But I'm saying, alas, that these military chiefs knows what they are doing. That is why we are where we are.
Thank you so much, Alfred and Nino. Thank you for your time on the show. We appreciate your analysis.
You're welcome.
Big thanks to you, Dandy Loveday. Thank you.
We
hope to do this with you again next week.
Thank you very much.
Big thanks to you for being a part of the conversation. We wouldn't have done this without you. Remember to stay connected with us on all of our socials as we are open for consultation and partnership. Stay with us on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X at Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Always remember that. Thank you once again for watching. I am Enidoye Jackson. Coming up next is Open Conversation. Please stay with us.